The next 24 hours are going to be really exciting. After Trump ultimately did not announce a war with Venezuela, even though it was pretty likely, the market still couldn't really recover. At this point, yesterday there was a nice pump and dump festival, but in the end that had nothing to do with manipulation. In the end, we just picked up the liquidity again, so there really isn't much to see here. So, and with that, welcome to a new crypto update video. Yes, Bitcoin at $86,400. I told you yesterday, yes, that yesterday was actually supposed to be a bit quieter because there was no news. And in the end, it was just as jam-packed and just as full of liquidity as the previous days. And the next 24 hours, or rather, yes, 22 hours, are also going to be really intense because we're getting a lot of data, of course, including the Bank of Japan, but also today at 2:30 p.m., a lot of data is coming in. The chart doesn't look great, and the altcoins are bleeding out brutally more and more. We'll take a look at all of this now, but before we get started, as always, feel free to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. And of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join there. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade everything we discuss here, you can also check out my partner, register on the Bing X exchange. You'll find the link for that below in the video description. Currently, you can secure up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses, and it's still ongoing. The Xmas event is running, where you can win prizes of up to 6 million USDT by trading every day. Then you can roll the dice and get some prizes. Whether it's free trades or trial funds, just go ahead and check it out. You just need to sign up. Then in the app, all right, let's get started. All right, live stream tonight at 7 p.m. I'm already really looking forward to it. Yeah, Bitcoin up to $86,400. What happened yesterday? Basically not much at all. So if you were on Twitter around that time, people were immediately saying moon. And 10 minutes later, everything is manipulated. So just to be clear, sure, there is manipulation, but just because we're pumping and dumping now doesn't mean it's manipulation in itself. People are simply buying and selling. You can see that very clearly in the spot flow, where I think I briefly posted it in the Telegram group yesterday. In the end, you can see exactly when market participants are buying and when they're selling. That's a very, very important point. Just because that's happening doesn't necessarily mean it's manipulation right away, or anything else for that matter. So that should actually be clear to everyone. I don't think I'll find it quickly right now from the looks of it. It doesn't matter. In any case, not much is being bought at the moment. At this point, or rather, not much is being sold either, which is why prices aren't moving up. Otherwise, in general, retest of the 200 SMA here on the 1 hour chart. Let's quickly switch to the 4 hour time frame, and there it's basically the same picture. 200 SMA up here. Again, just a negative retest. Again, just the liquidity. It got taken out and then it went down again. So the market is just as crappy as it was 24 hours ago, just as bad as it's been the whole time. Then yesterday, we briefly had the topic of Venezuela and Trump. Tucker Carlson mentioned it in an interview that he was briefed, or rather that he was told that apparently there might be a war with Venezuela. But he also said in the interview that it might not necessarily be announced in Trump's speech last night, or rather in the speech tonight. So it's still not entirely clear with Venezuela. Oil prices are falling, and we'll take a closer look at that as well. On that, and otherwise, it's the same hopeful talk as always. If you've already seen the chart on Twitter, the last 5 times the RSI was below 30, the path that crypto took afterward, that's pure hopium. Again, because it even says at the top, the last 5 times. And the last 5 times we were below 30 on the RSI, it was simply always during a bull market. And of course, during a bull run, things only go up, even if the RSI is oversold. Look back a bit at the bear market there too. The RSI was below 30 and still kept falling lower and lower. So please be cautious with things like that, which is why I mentioned it again yesterday. Otherwise, the stock markets are also under a bit of pressure. That's not just because of one issue, Japan. As I already wrote in the Telegram group yesterday, I suspect that the carry trade is slowly becoming a bit of a downturn because we are seeing the first problems. But the big problem is AI, once again, because Oracle, due to, I don't know what was found there, they apparently couldn't build the data center where they ultimately wanted to. And the fact that a company like Oracle if there are even minimal delays regarding these data centers, apparently causes the entire AI market to wobble again, which then drags the Nasdaq down a bit as well. And that is making the whole market a bit more pessimistic right now. And that's not all yet. I said there's still a lot of news coming out today. And at 2:30 p.m., we're really going to get hit hard. The CPI data for the month of November. And I don't want to say anything strange, but if we take a look at it, if you remember yesterday, it was still at 3%. Now we have a forecast of 3.1%. So inflation is rising. So this could really turn into a disaster event today. On Tuesday, we had the much too high labor market data, which was absolutely terrible. Sorry for my language. Now we also have the PPI data coming, then the initial and continuing jobless claims. Well, congratulations to us today, folks. And then tonight at 4 in the morning, or rather tomorrow, Japan comes in with the Bank of Japan. That's going to be fun. So just brace yourselves for the next 24 hours, because take a look at the Japanese bond market, 1.99%. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Hey, that doesn't look good. So Bitcoin at the moment, I think this wick might even get filled. So if the PPI data today really, if the data turns out better, then I really think this is market manipulation. At that point, in my opinion, it's really starting to look like market manipulation, but I could see that happening. But stay safe, seriously, don't do anything stupid. Don't try to force your way into any long positions at all costs. Honestly, I'd love to go long too, I'm telling you straight up, but the market just isn't allowing it. I'm staying short for now, and I'll say this. The big events are coming up today at 2:30 p.m. and tomorrow at 4 a.m. You can always go long after that. But right now, at the moment, the risk is just way, way too high. Let's take a look at the heat map. I can give you a bit of hope there, but also not really. Why? You can see the orders up here at 94, 95. They've gotten noticeably weaker. But I don't want to give you any false hope with that. The big orders are sitting here at 90, 96.7 because that's where we dropped yesterday. But take a look down below at 70, 73. The order book is empty. We pretty much don't have any real heat map left. Really, really strange picture, but there's one indicator that doesn't lie, and that's the funding rates, and they're positive. It makes absolutely no sense, but they're positive. Anyway, I think I'm rambling again here. Be careful with Bitcoin here. I think I've now tried everything to give you some perspective. I'm not going to do anything at the moment. The short is running. It was increased a bit up here again. And for me, the next targets, let me tell you honestly what my best case scenario would look like. We go down to Sailor's entry at 75K and then shoot back up. That would be the short-term scenario. Feel free to share your opinion in the comments. All right, then let's move on to the altcoins. Ethereum looks absolutely terrible. Yesterday, for those who saw it in the Telegram group, I had a really, really quick scalp open. That means I entered somewhere around 2,940, traded it up, the 200 SMA acted as resistance, closed it, and that was it. You really can't do much more here at the moment, and it wasn't something where I'd write in the Telegram group like, hey, go long there, because it just doesn't make sense. It's way, way too short term. Half of you wouldn't even catch it, and by then we've already broken out and are almost back at the bottom. So the market, no, even Ethereum is a disaster, really a disaster. Let's take a quick look at the funding rates. They actually look pretty good, but still, I'm not taking the risk. Solana, hey, no. Sorry, guys, but I'm slowly getting a bit... You can't find it more than funny, but it just doesn't make sense. So I'm not going long here. The trend is clearly downward. Sorry. We're forming lower highs and lower lows. Also, in the short term, it doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense, so hands off altcoins for now. Let's move over to the transnational markets. What's the dollar doing? It's going up a bit, but that happened yesterday too. The news about a possible war has been resolved. As a result, the euro can rise again now. US dollar JPY is rising again. Tomorrow, this thing should crash hard if Japan raises interest rates. We're safe, it's all no problem, but tomorrow this thing should really tank. Gold is still at a high level. Of course, war, uncertainty, silver, same thing, moon. The next targets are clear. If this whole thing continues, it's probably going to be around $70. Again, no shorting here either. Please, friends, stop shorting any gold stuff. Yes, I'm short on Pionex with our bot, but the long bot is still running too. That means we don't really care right now whether gold keeps rising because the position is pretty small anyway. And it can trade a bit within the current range. Let's see how all of this plays out today. Then the traditional markets. DAX is falling, Dow Jones is falling, NASDAQ is falling. We briefly touched on this topic yesterday. Uncertainties are growing. We have a lower high with significantly less volume. The risks are higher than ever that things could really crash today, tomorrow, or over the weekend. And I'm telling you, the best case would be if we crashed down and then got a V-shaped recovery. Because the next news, there really isn't any more news for now. Now we only have Japan left on the agenda. Who knows the word? What does it say? And the inflation data. So now we'll probably have 2 or 3 weeks of calm until the next interest rate decision. And that's in over 40 days. Then the prices can really pump upwards. But at the moment, everything is built on thin ice. S&P 500 is dropping. 6,700 just barely missed the all-time high. Too bad, because as you know, that would have been our short entry up there. Too bad, but well, it happens to me again because I was too precise again, but all right. And otherwise, the volatility index, we're slowly seeing a slight upward curve. Please be careful, even today at 2:30 p.m. Don't try to catch the bottom or anything like that. It doesn't make any sense. At the moment, every pump, just like yesterday, is being sold off brutally through spot sales. A lot of bids are coming in and, well, a lot of sell orders too. And at the moment, it looks more like we're going to keep going down. It's better to stay on the sidelines and protect your capital. We'll take a look at the rest tonight at 7 p.m. in the live stream. I'm definitely really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be very, very interesting again, especially after the news at 2:30 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. See you tonight. I still wish you a wonderful and successful day. Feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. It helps support me. And then we'll catch up again this evening. Until then, ciao, and as always, stay creepy.